What's good? What's good? What's good? We on here? Yeah. I was kind of hesitant to make this video. I really was. I've been sitting back watching the drama unfold like just about everybody else. And I was kind of hesitant to make this video. But just like Phil Shake did Friday, because I follow Dan Ray for boxing chats every now and then or whatever. Usually I'm probably working or something like that. But I kind of have a peek in. And I seen that question. I seen the question the guy asked him. And I thought to myself when Dan answered it, this is a guy that's been a known pretty much Al Heyman opposer for years now. You know, a lot of the rumors and a lot of the quote unquote bad business Al Heyman has done and stuff like that. The first person to really put that out the majority of the time was Dan Rafael. And I don't know his relationship with Shelly Finkel or anything like that, but the answer he gave kind of shocked me. But he's been on top of this whole situation just like people from the LDBC, just like, a whole bunch of other uploaders. So it's kind of shocking to me that he would take the stance that he's taken when it comes to matters of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. I mean, I have my opinion. My opinion is Hearn and Joshua just don't want to fight. I'll just come out and say it. To me, they've shown numerous times in the past they don't want to fight. Wilder has been pushing the issue. Finkel has been pushing the issue. DeBilla's been pushing the issue. If you want to say Heyman's been pushing the issue, that side has been pushing the issue. They've been trying to force, this man to basically do something he don't want to do. And the thing about it is you can't force a grown person to do something they want to do. Even if it's $50 million on the table, as we see now, you still can't force a grown person to do shit they don't want to do. Now, is it a duck? Absolutely. This is with the purse, the guaranteed purse that's being offered right now, that's on the table, of $50 million guaranteed. Win or lose, you're going to get your $50 million. We've never seen anything like this in heavyweight boxing history. I would go as far as to say this is probably the biggest duck in heavyweight boxing history. This is a bigger duck to me than Bo Lewis by far, because $50 million wasn't on the table for Bo and Lewis. And I said, hey, to me, Bo ducked Lewis. What's going on here is that you have fans of one man, being Anthony Joshua, that claim to be boxing fans, but they're fans of that man. You get what I'm saying? They aren't necessarily boxing fans, because for the betterment of boxing, everybody should be pushing people's hands to make this fight happen. See, the difference between people, let's say the LDBC and everybody else that I'm seeing, is that one side, the LDBC, is pushing towards the fight. Despite the money being offered and everything else, what Hearn is saying, this, that, and the third, the LDBC is pushing towards the fight. They want to see the fight. They want a guy that they're fans of, Deontay Wilder, to get his shot at Anthony Joshua and become an undisputed. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have people saying, why does Wilder deserve this fight? This is a fake offer. Hearn's not lying. Wilder's not serious about fighting this guy. Wilder should fight White. You see the major difference right there? If you can't see the difference is while one side is pushing for their guy to fight this one guy, Anthony Joshua, to fight this guy and become undisputed, the other side is making up all kinds of excuses so their guy won't fight Deontay Wilder. They're giving him a reason why he shouldn't fight Deontay Wilder. That's not what you call a boxing fan. That's not what you call a boxing fan at all. You're a fan of Anthony Joshua if you're doing that. If you're on that opposite side of the spectrum, and this is being unbiased. As biased as it may seem, this is looking at everything, taking a couple of steps back. If you're on that opposite side of the spectrum, I don't mind you wanting the best for Anthony Joshua. Hey, he should get his fair share of money. Hey, he should, you know, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. I don't mind that, okay? I don't mind that whatsoever. But all together excluding him from trying to gain the last championship that will make him undisputed champion, you're not a fan of the sport. Because anybody that's a fan of heavyweight boxing wants to see an undisputed heavyweight champion. That one guy we can say, hey, that's the man. Anybody. Don't matter. Anybody. Because I truly believe if Parker would have beat Joshua, one side would be like, hey, Wilder needs to fight Parker. But what would the other side be saying then? The other side, the only argument they would have is, hey, we need a rematch against Parker. Well, what after that? Let's say he lost twice to Parker. What would you say then? Would you say, yeah, he should have fought Wilder? Would you say that? I mean, like I said, you're not being a fan of the sport of boxing. You're being a fan of Anthony Joshua, and that doesn't benefit the sport of boxing. Because if Anthony Joshua was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, he would pretty much be the face of boxing. And that's truth being told. Name a point in period we had an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He was not the face of boxing. Name one. You've had well-known promoters. You had your Don Kings, your Bob Arums, you know, but Eddie Hearn will never be the face of boxing. He'll never be the voice of boxing. He'll be a promoter. That's it. He'll be a promoter. Might be a known promoter, but he still wouldn't be the face of boxing. If Anthony Joshua were to fight Deontay Wilder and become undisputed, he would be the face of boxing. Same can be said for Deontay Wilder. If Deontay Wilder were to defeat Anthony Joshua and becomes undisputed, he would be the face of boxing. So now it comes to the time of who I would want to represent the sport that I love, that I enjoy watching. Who would I want to be that face? And right now I'm left with everything that I've been seeing out of both parties. And out of both parties, I see one guy pressing the issue, trying to get something done in regards to becoming undisputed heavyweight champion. And I see this one guy who really has only said so much. His promoter is doing the majority of the talking. And his promoter seems like he's doing everything in his power to get away with it. I mean, I read an article in Forbes magazine, you know, and another, I'll bring up something else after that. But a couple of days ago, I read something out of Forbes magazine, and, you know, shout out to 78 Boxing. I mean, excuse me, 78 Sports TV. I didn't mean to say that. Boxing is the first thing on my mind right now, but shout out to 78 Boxing. I mean, sports. Why am I saying boxing? Damn, I don't know. But shout out to 78 Sports TV, man. He said something that really has pretty much trended for a while. He said he's been calling Eddie Hearn Fast Eddie. You know, so is Blood Boxing, by the way. They've been calling him Fast Eddie. And it shocked me that Forbes magazine was actually referring to Eddie Hearn as Fast Eddie in that article. If you don't believe me, Check out the article. Go to Forbes.com. Check it out. Forbes magazine. Forbes magazine. Mind you, this is an unbiased, opinion. They're basically giving their own opinion of the situation. You know what I'm saying? They have no dog in the fight. But even they see what's going on and what Eddie Hearn is trying to do. They mentioned that even they are noticing that Eddie Hearn is trying to do basically what Bob Arum did with Pacquiao. They basically said he's trying to milk Eddie Hearn Anthony Joshua for everything that he possibly can get out of him. Schedule fights in the UK, which is smart. You know he's going to draw there. He's packing up stadiums and everything. But fighting Deontay Wilder will be a big risk, because what if he loses? Then that cash cow is gone. The cash cow is gone. Then what can he do? And with this $50 million, 9 to 10 times, if the fight occurs and terms are agreed on and everything else, contracts are signed, 9 to 10 times this fight doesn't even happen in the UK. That fight probably happens here in the United States, probably Las Vegas. Wouldn't rule out Brooklyn, depending on who bids on it, because there's going to be a bidding war for that fight between Las Vegas and probably Brooklyn. But my whole thing is, it shocked me that this has gone on to such a level that even Forbes magazine is picking this up, folks. And even they, with their unbiased opinions, are stating exactly what people in the LDBC are stating. Exactly what you wake up in the morning and hear 7 8 Sports TV talk about. Exactly what you're seeing Blood Boxing talk about, Fair Shake Boxing talk about, Fanon International, Cali Enigma. All these guys are stating the same thing. Ticket TV. They're all saying the same thing. But Forbes magazine is agreeing with them. And not only Forbes magazine, but Dan Rayfield is agreeing with them. So all these outside opinions seem to basically come together on one almost fact now, that this one side, Eddie Hearn's side, doesn't want this fight. I'm not saying Anthony Joshua, I'm saying Eddie Hearn. But the thing about it is, Anthony Joshua, he's not putting his foot down. That means he doesn't want the fight as well. And the saddest part about it is, if you were any kind of boxing fan, you would be telling Anthony Joshua and getting on Eddie Hearn, just like these guys. Like, hey, we think our dude can beat this guy. We love Anthony Joshua, but we don't think Anthony should avoid fighting anybody. This is the biggest test out here for Anthony, and we have confidence in Anthony. We have confidence that Anthony can beat this guy. Get him in the ring. That's what you should be saying, because you should want your guy to fight the best guy. And right now, Deontay Wilder is proven to be the other best guy that's active, at least. You should be wanting him to fight Deontay Wilder. With that being said, that would show that you are more of a fan of the sport. This is heavyweight boxing. Everybody takes an L, no matter who they fight. Everybody's going to take an L. Deontay Wilder's eventually going to lose. Anthony Joshua is eventually going to lose. There's not a heavyweight that's probably not going to lose. There's probably not going to be one undefeated heavyweight when it's all said and done, especially in this era. All of them have their flaws. None of them are perfect. But to be the best right now and to hold that title, that prestigious title of undisputed, anytime during their career, that's a hallmark. That's a bullet. When it's all said and done, they can look back on it like, hey, I was the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis. Think about that. But since you're such a fan of the person and not the sport, and not the legacy of being undisputed, and not the lineage, the lineage of the sport, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. That's why that term AJ Protectors is going around. You can call Deontay Wilder fans delusional, this, that, and the third, but are you going to call Forbes the same thing? Forbes magazine is delusional. Dan Rafael is delusional. And many other articles, many other news outlets. Are you going to call them delusional? Because the only people that seem delusional at this point are Anthony Joshua fans, AJ protectors. You're the only people that are not in agreement with pretty much the masses, whether you're stateside or in the UK. You're the only people. And it isn't like that Eddie Hearn hasn't done business with Shelly Finkel numerous times. I mean, Shelly Finkel and Eddie Hearn did business putting the Klitschko-Joshua fight together. Shelly Finkel has been around the sport for years. Shelly Finkel has been around the sport longer than some people have been alive. His reputation is second to none. So for Eddie Hearn to come out and say, oh, they're bluffing, they're not, yada, yada, yada. Now you're putting this man's reputation on the line and his word, and he's got so many good sources that can back up his reputation that it's not working. It's not going to work. People that know better, it's not going to work, Ed. I'm telling you now. You can try to drag this man's name through the mud, this, that, and the third, but people know better. So it's not going to work what you're trying. I would much rather respect Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua and even his fans saying, hey, we just don't want the fight. This is not the fight that we're looking for right now. I would respect that more than this carousel that they're putting everybody on right now. From people that actually watch the sport, like the sport, love the sport, and care about the sport. I'd much rather hear them just blatantly come out and say, hey, we're not looking for this fight right now. This is not something that we're interested in doing right now. A la Keith Thurman. Now, Keith Thurman still gets bashed, don't get me wrong. But it was more respectable for him to say, hey, I'm not looking at the Errol Spence fight right now. That's not a fight I'm shooting towards right now. I respected that. He gave his reasoning, whether I agree with it or not, but I respected that. He gained a level of respect from me when he said that. Eddie Hearn's not doing such. Every time you hear Eddie Hearn say, oh, this is a bogus offer, I need to see which that contract situation, like, come on, man. Come on, man. You're going to say no and say, I need to see a contract. You said no. What's the point of drawing up a contract and showing you this, that, and the third if you said no? Verbally, no. You said no to $50 million. You don't deserve to see a contract or anything after that. All you had to do, if you wanted to really return the bluff that was called on you, you should have said yes. And then check everything else. But then you really would have been like knee deep in it then, now wouldn't you? Because you seen everything would have been legit and this, that, and the third. And how can Anthony Joshua say no to a deal like that? But by verbally saying no to $50 million without even taking a meeting on it or anything like that, or even digging a little deeper to see if it's everything legit. As I said, I feel like it's the worst duck in heavyweight boxing history. If this happens, if this fight doesn't happen, this go around, this is the worst duck in heavyweight boxing history. And I've lost a lot of respect for it. I really have. It's crazy. It's crazy the stuff that I'm seeing right now. Because like I said, whether I like a fighter or love a fighter or anything like that, I still want to see those fighters fighting the best. I'm a huge fan of Errol Spence Jr. I want to see Errol Spence fight Terrence Crawford. I want to see Errol Spence fight Keith Thurman. I'm not barring no plex from that, man. You heard me? Not none. I think this dude is a stallion. And put him on the track, let him do his thing. You heard me? Win or lose, I'm still riding with that dude for the simple fact no matter he ain't scared to prove himself. And besides that, I'm a fan of the sport. It's all this ducking and shit like that Fights not getting made. Fights not getting made is why the UFC got such a rise years ago during the whole Mayweather Pacquiao thing. Because the biggest fights, the biggest complaint people had about boxing, even Dana White said it is, hey, these guys aren't fighting each other. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make sure my guys fight each other. You want to see John Jones versus Rashad Evans? We'll do it. And that was what, almost like 10 years ago that fight happened? But that was during the middle of the whole Pacquiao-Mayweather fiasco. You know? No matter what fight it was in the UFC, he put it together. And he did it. For the simple fact of the matter, boxing wasn't making the fights that people wanted to see. And the thing about it is, if you look at the fights that people wanted to see and they happened, look at the numbers they generated, man. People waited damn near 8 years to see Mayweather Pacquiao. When it finally got made, look at the numbers it generated, man. People been wanting to see that fight. There's a certain point you can build a fight till you can't build it no more. Hell, as far as we know, they could have possibly lost money because people lost interest in the fight. Well, did the fight live up to expectations? For other people, no. For me, yeah, because I kind of figured the fight was going to go like that. I knew the fighters. I was a fan of the sport. I watched both of them. I wasn't crazy about what everyone was doing with Pacquiao and this, that, and the third. But I still watched the man's fights because I'm a fan of the sport. I'm not just a fan of a fighter. Now, all that being said, things, I wasn't shocked. I'm not gonna say I was shocked, but right now, as I look on like StubHub for the Danny Jacobs fight tonight, they selling tickets for like $13. $13 for a fight tonight in Brooklyn. Now I'm a fan of Danny Jacobs. You know, I want to see Danny Jacobs and Charlo. I love the Charlo brothers, man. Love them dudes, man. But also, I'm a fan of Danny Jacobs. I want to see them get down. I said, hey, I want to see Charlo get a shot at Triple G, but if I can't get that Triple G fight, I would love Danny Jacobs and Charlo. Should Jacobs win tonight, which he should, but that's an Eddie Hearn promoted event. Tonight is an Eddie Hearn. That's a Matchroom event tonight. Matchroom USA, the whole thing or whatever. So I'm kind of conflicted for what I'm about to say for the simple fact of the matter. Yeah, I'm a fan of Danny Jacobs and I'm a fan of the sport and this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. But we shouldn't do anything to benefit Eddie Hearn. If he can't give us what we want, then we shouldn't give him our dollars, no matter what the event is or whatever. And that goes out to the people in the UK that feel the same way. If he can't give you what you want, don't give him your money, man. It's just like going to a fast food restaurant. You place an order, they give you the wrong order. You either gonna want your money back or you're gonna want what you ordered in the first place. And that's what should be happening right now. So, you know, I'm not encouraging anybody to, you know, spend the $13 if you're in the Brooklyn area to you know, go see the fight. I'm not encouraging you to do it, but I'm not gonna discourage you to, because hey, you choose to, you know, check out the fight. It's only $13. Go ahead, you know. But still, if it was me personally, I wouldn't do it. I'm not even gonna watch the fight tonight. I'm not even gonna add to the ratings or anything like that. I'll just check it out later or whatever, stream it or something. I don't know. But I'm not gonna support somebody that's basically not giving me what I want. ESPN has a fight, you know, I'll probably watch that, call it a night. But I'm definitely not going to support this fight tonight. Anything Matchroom promoted, I'm not supporting because they're not getting fans, but they want. You can call me bitter, this, that, and that. And yeah, I'll take that. I'm bitter. Yeah, I'm bitter. I'm bitter because I'm not getting the fight I want. You can call me spoiled or whatever, this, that, and the third, but shit, I want what I want. There's plenty of other boxing matches and fights that I will be watching and will be enjoying throughout the summer and the rest of the year. But anything involving Matchroom, I'm not taking part of purposely. Anything involving Golden Boy, I'm not taking part of purposely. You know? So that's all I can say about that. Stop being a fan of a fighter and be a fan of the sport because it benefits the sport as a whole. And if you're a fan of Anthony Joshua, if you're a true fan of Anthony Joshua, then you should be telling Anthony Joshua on Twitter. Or if you see him in the streets and you in the UK, you should be on Eddie Hearn's Twitter. You should be beating these dudes' doors down, telling them, hey, this is the fight that the world wants to see. This is the fight that boxing needs. Make the fight. And then you'll become a boxing fan. I'm out.